I get it when you've spent a weekend trying to get a flat concrete slab and the cheap laser you grabbed from the discount aisle starts wobbling the moment you move it a few feet. The frustration is real. That moment of buyer's remorse is what makes me pause before throwing another budget gizmo at the job. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. The Leica Rugby 610 promises to be a step up from those good enough for a weekend project lasers, but does it actually feel like a smarter buy for someone who needs consistency day after day? First off, the biggest hesitation most people have with a rotary laser level is the fear of overpaying for a feature set they'll never use. You've probably heard the phrase "you get what you pay for," and in the world of site layout tools that's usually true. The Rugby 610 sits in a price bracket where you're not just paying for a laser diode, you're paying for Leica's reputation for precision and the kind of self-leveling mechanism that keeps the beam truly level even if the tripod wobbles a little. That's the value proposition that separates it from the $50 knockoffs that need constant manual adjustment. If you're a professional contractor who needs to set up a foundation, grade a road, or install a series of drainage pipes, the Rugby 610's 360-degree laser can cut down setup time dramatically. Imagine you're laying out a new patio. You pop the tripod in place, turn on the unit, and the laser spins a perfect circle around the perimeter. No more walking around with a handheld level trying to line up each corner. For a crew of 3, you'll spend minutes instead of hours aligning the layout. That's a concrete time saver on any job site where labor costs add up fast. On the flip side, if you're a DIY enthusiast who only needs a level once a year for a fence post or a garden path, the Rugby 610 might be overkill. The same level of precision and self-leveling you get in a professional setting can feel unnecessary when you're just hanging a picture frame or leveling a small deck. In those cases, a simple line laser or a bubble level will get the job done for a fraction of the price. So, the first rule of thumb, if you're only pulling out a level once in a while, consider a cheaper alternative and keep the Rugby for when you truly need that continuous, reliable beam. One practical strength of the Rugby 610 is its durability. Leica builds these units to survive the kind of rough handling you get on a construction site: drops, dust, and occasional rain. The housing is sealed, which means you can leave it out on a wet day without worrying about the internals shorting out. I've seen crews leave a rotary laser on a tarp while they work on a roof, and the Rugby's design seems to hold up under that kind of exposure. That kind of ruggedness translates into fewer replacement cycles, which is a hidden cost saver you don't see on the spec sheet. Another advantage is the ease of calibration. Leica's self-leveling system automatically finds true level within a few seconds of powering up. In a real-world scenario, you're often setting up on uneven ground. Think of a sloped backyard where you're planning a retaining wall. The Rugby will level itself without you having to manually adjust the tripod legs for each new spot. That means you can move the unit around the site, and each time it's ready to give you an accurate reference plane in under 10 seconds. In my experience, that speed matters when you're racing against the sun or a deadline. But there are trade-offs that come with that level of technology. The unit runs on a rechargeable battery that, according to the user manual, lasts for a full day of intermittent use. In practice, if you're running the laser continuously on a large site, you might find yourself needing to swap the battery or pause the work to recharge. That's not a deal-breaker, but it's something to keep in mind if you plan a marathon job without easy access to power. Another point worth noting is the learning curve. The Rugby 610 isn't exactly plug-and-play for someone who's never held a rotary laser. There are menu settings for beam visibility, rotation speed, and a few safety locks that you have to familiarize yourself with. For a seasoned pro, those menus are second nature, but a first-time user might spend a few extra minutes in the manual before feeling comfortable. The upside is that once you've got it dialed in, you can fine-tune the beam intensity for bright daylight or dim indoor conditions, which is a practical benefit you won't get with a basic line laser. Now, let's talk about the price versus the actual return on investment. Leica is a premium brand, and that premium shows up in the price tag. The Rugby 610 will cost significantly more than a generic rotary laser. However, the value isn't just